Peace. What's up, everybody? It's your man, DVS Imaad, coming to you on another ImRealDvs Tuesday. It's that kind of week, I'm telling you already. So what's up, everybody? I hope everybody has had a good week. Yeah, it's been interesting, to say the least. But I need to, there's a couple of things I need y'all to look out for. One of them is Humble Beginnings, every second Saturday of the month. This coming month, November, the second Saturday in November, we have our Needy Families Food Drive. So any non-perishable food items that you would like to donate, you can contact me. You can inbox me, let me know if you can't make it to the party, but we would love to have you at the Humble Party. You would love to be there, I'm telling you. It's the bomb. You are going to love this party. $20, all you can eat and drink, and we have dinner, like sick, twisted, like lasagna, collard greens, barbecue chicken, 2 kinds of meatballs, yellow rice. There's always a salad or something, and somebody usually throws some baked macaroni and cheese. I've been trying to tell y'all this for 2 years.
How much is it, DVS?
$20.
But what do you get for $20?
For $20 is all you can eat and drink. And you get the party with the Beat Brothers and the Humble family. And in December, we are having because this is our season of giving. September was our back to school drive. October, we did our cancer awareness drive where we collected money for cancer, for research for cancer, for the cure for cancer. November, we're doing the food drive for back to food.
The
right?
needy food drive. Just get the food.
I apologize again. November, we're doing the food drive for needy families, and in December, we will be doing the toy drive for kids, for kids, basically.
For sure, right.
Well, we
Right, for the babies.
First two here, DVS will be doing the Grumpy Christmas here.
Oh, Grumpy Christmas right here, 400 Hawthorne Avenue in Newark on the 21st of December. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So your kids will have a great holiday if you celebrate the holiday. Your kids can have a great holiday. So right now, I need everybody to share the video. Right now, I need y'all to share this video. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that everybody can benefit from. Everybody. So if you're watching this is a family-friendly show. You need to sit down with your teenagers. If you have younger, not little kids, but if you have teenagers and they starting to ask for the Jordans, they starting to ask for money to go to the movies, they starting to ask for an allowance. When they're starting to ask for those things, they're starting to understand the value of money. And today we're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about managing money today. And we have an expert. We have a person who has their own business, their own finance company here today to discuss finances with us. So can we we're going to welcome Cash. Push the button. And of course, we have just Joy down on the end, the co-host for ImRealDvs. I want to welcome everybody once again to the show. And if you're just joining us again, we ask you to please share the video and tag anybody who you know is having it. The person that's always calling you for $20, tag them in this video.
Don't tag me because I'm already here. Thank you.
Okay, so don't tag Joy.
I got my today over.
The person that you asked for a ride and they like you got gas money all the time, but every time you took them for a ride, they never forked out anything. Tag them in this video. The person who you take out to dinner and every time you take them out to dinner, when the check comes, they start either patting their pockets, either they have a calculator to decide exactly how much tip it is. Those are things that we need to pay attention to. We're kind of making light of it, but those are things that everybody that we have encountered. And those are things that we need to work on because those are things that will help us in the long run and help our relationships because it's all about relationships. Your entire life is about relationships. And money, because it's an arbitrary system that we have set up in society, is a reward system, and it's our barter for work, for our services and things like that. Because we have this system in place, we have to learn how to work within the system if you want to be able to get ahead. So without any further ado, if you have not shared the video already, once again, we please ask you to share the video. And in the caption at the top is the number. If you have any questions, please call in. That's Tanya's number. That's just for the night. It's 201-852-3933. Call if you have any questions. So right now, Chef, how are you?
I'm great.
You are gorgeous, first of all.
Thank you so much, sir.
You know I love you. And of course, Joy with the That's why she's called Joy. You see all that brightness down there?
It's gotta be the shoes.
I'm sorry.
I want to welcome Cash back. I know that you are a featured guest on today, but you are not a stranger to the GS North
Not at all.
GS Radio North family. So welcome back. Don't be nervous.
Thank you
And
much.
we're so super excited to have you share the expertise that we know that you have, like you've been doing. So go ahead and take it away.
Appreciate it. Well, basically, again, my full name is Kashem Latif Holland. Please don't try to do all that. Just call me Cash. It's nice and easy to remember, right? And it's extremely apropos in my line of work. So I've been a financial educator for some years for adults. Here recently, a couple of years ago, I created a program for children. But ultimately, what started this is the fact that myself included have struggled financially for many years. And so here of late, I've gotten a little bit of a handle on things, but I think that it's extremely important to educate our community so that we can all be, level up and get to that next level as far as finances are concerned.
Okay, let me ask this question. What is, in your experience, one of the things? Because I'm sure there are a variety. What are one of the biggest money management mistakes that people make that they often come to you to try to fix?
Well, one of the biggest is the lack of saving, right? So what I've learned is that, and that's why the financial literacy, right? And it's basically the knowledge that you gain on how to better manage your financial resources. And what I've learned is that most people are able to make money. Like that is real easy. There are a lot of jobs, people are starting businesses, their money is free flowing and always has been. However, if you're unable to manage $1,000, then you will never be able to manage $1 million. And so a lot of people come to me and basically it's that part is how do you take from this part and how do you balance the two? And one of the things that I continue to share with people is a lot of people, so feel that they want to make a certain amount of money, right? So they don't make enough. But the reality is that they're spending too much. And so what I continually encourage people is if you spend less, like you automatically level the playing field, you create balance in your life, and you automatically give yourself a raise. If you spend less on frivolous things, and so basically it boils down to having a budget, picking and choosing what you actually spend money on, being able to decipher between your needs and your wants, and make those decisions in life. And if you get into the habit of doing that, then it becomes much easier going on.
Okay, now with people mismanaging, first of all, you said it was people not saving.
Right.
One of the things that I've often heard over the years is when we get paid, the first thing we should learn to do is pay ourselves first. Then see a big smile just came across your face. I guess that was part of that you were going to get to that.
Most definitely.
Go ahead.
So with paying yourself, right? It's people have different viewpoints. What I personally like to do is, so us as a community, right? We tend to have a very negative connotation with money. We work to pay bills, and so we have this feeling that it's a feeling of monotony where we just can't get ahead. So what I encourage is that, yes, you take a portion and pay yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that, if you're living on a fixed income or if you know that rent is due on Friday, then now you go ball out and buy a trip and, get airline tickets. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Well, what I'm really encouraging, though, is that you take the time to invest in yourself, whatever that is. For some people, it's just a massage or a spa day. For other people, it may be putting money away just for, like a rainy day or for that vacation that you want to do. But it is like you mentioned, like we have to pay ourselves first because we have to see that we're working for something. See, because if not, if we continue just to work and the first thing we're doing is paying the landlord or getting shoes for the kids or paying for the school trip or, paying for life insurance, like all of those are essential, don't get me wrong, but you should also have a certain amount and you should budget that amount. There should be an allotment.
Right on in there, when you mention stuff like, shoes and stuff for the kids, how do you explain to people or try to convince them, people like me, that I can save and still survive? Because I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. It sounds really good for you to say, pay yourself first and get your spot day, right? But I'm already, and I'll speak for myself and a lot of other people in my community and in our situation, I'm already a check behind. I'm already a catch up. I'm already, this is already paid out, or already budgeted as far as
Right.
So how do you convince me, and I'm gonna say me, because I'm talking about me, to learn to or feel like I can save and survive? Because I feel like I ain't got it. I don't have it. So where am I supposed to pull it from? I hear you say pull it, but I'm already pulling. How do I pull it for me like you think I should?
Well, I guess the first thing is going to start with the budget, right? And so a lot of us, like, we are all impulsive and compulsive creatures, right? See, so whether that's the going to the mall and, you know, see this pair of shoes that we may not even have an outfit for, we don't necessarily need, but we just have to have, you know, all of us fall victim to that, myself included, right? So what I encourage is, though, to have this budget. And so with the budget, it basically is taking the resources that you have or the money that you make, and then the first thing that, of course, you budget for is your necessities. So the necessities are, like you said, the rent, the phone bill that needs to stay on, the lights that need to stay on. And then after that, you have a bottom line figure. From that bottom line figure, now it's more about prioritizing than anything else. And I always encourage that people at least save, you know, the traditional rule is like the 50-30-20 rule, right? And what that usually is that 50% goes to your needs and necessities, 30% would go towards, you know, your like savings or whatever, 20% towards your wants. The reality of it is although that's a great thing to follow, many of us, our necessities cost more than 50%. Exactly. So what I basically encourage is, you know, a percentage of what you make. Like, so personally, I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. My resources are never the same. You know, I don't get the same amount this week or from each job or whatever. So I tend to take a percentage. I may say 5% or 10%. I am going to definitely put that to the side, like no matter what. And then in addition to that, what I've learned to do is cut back on some other things. So I used to be, not so much now, but I used to be big on coffee. I used to be big on like Starbucks coffee and Dunkin' Donuts, right? But do you realize that on the average, if you have a cup or two, you're spending about $5 a day. What that translates to, just the work week, not including the weekends, is $25 a week. That's $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. So now I charge you to go to the store and get like ground coffee or instant coffee, and that same $5, put it away because you've already been used to spending it, right? Put it away in a jar. And so now if you're able to do that in the coffee can, right? If you're able to do that, now you just spent $1,200 that you didn't even realize that you were really spending, but now it becomes your savings. And if it's not the whole amount, then of course, you know, downgrade. Instead of getting the large, get the medium. But act as if
when they go on sale, you can wait till 2 o'clock.
But act as if you're still saving that same $5. See, so now you got a difference, right? So now if you only spend it $2, take that $3. You know what I'm saying? And see, so now what you've done is you've trained your mind without taking away from what you're already spending, but now you've allocated, you know, some money towards your savings. And, you know, again, we bargain shop. You know, I encourage people, even with anybody who knows my Facebook, like I'm always on vacation of some sort, right? And I'm not gonna put it out there like, you know, I'm some billionaire, because I'm not, and I'm always looking for funding. Plug, please donate. Yours is a nonprofit organization. Feel free to reach out and, you know, show that you care, right? But we're gonna get to the kids, but just show, like, you know, that you with this, right? But what I encourage all the time is that, like, right in harmony with that, like, so even with vacationing, I vacation to certain places at different times throughout the year. I check and I try not to go through peak season when airlines are more expensive. So yeah, I'm traditionally the one who may go to different places, but trust me, I've investigated where I'm going to where I'm saving a third, or, you know, I'm spending a third of the money that an average person would spend. See, so it's not that you can't enjoy yourself, like at the end of it, you gotta know how to do this.
Great. Oh, wow. That was a lot to begin with. No, really, because a lot of us don't think of it in terms like that. I know when I was working, I used to get up I would go to Dunkin' Donuts every morning. Mm-hmm. And I would get the breakfast, like, even if it's $3, that's $15 a week. At 4 weeks, that's $60 a month times 12 is another, $500 or whatever. So it's like, we have to, like you said, prioritize. But for those people, and a lot of us, like you said, a lot of us, we don't see the things that we can live without. And we are either living above our means, or the money that we made, like Joy said, all of it's going out to bills. And a lot of it is the things that we can't, or we don't believe we should live without. In this day and age, even kids, if you have a kid in school, you can't not have internet access at home. That's no longer a luxury. That is, now it is a necessity. It's not something that you can barter with. It's not something that you can give up. But you can shop around for a cheaper package. You can lower it so that you don't have the through the roof 400 megabytes when it's only 2 of you in the house and both of y'all at work all day. It doesn't make any sense. Things like that. But when it comes to things like, I know for myself, I try to keep a lot of eggs in different baskets, but it's not necessarily just to save money, but things like life insurance. How many of you have your own independent of your job? Because a lot of us, we get jobs and we have a life insurance policy through our jobs, but you're an entrepreneur. So what do you do for people? Because there are a lot of entrepreneurs. Let me, just so that we understand the economic situation as it is, or another aspect of the economic situation as it is currently in our society right now. Once, a lot of people, first of all, welfare, we're going to start with welfare. Welfare was a thing that people thought that it was money that people needed, and that was why they got welfare. That wasn't the reason. People either needed food stamps or they needed healthcare coverage. The money was extra. It was a bonus, and some, of course, it was helpful, but it was things like the healthcare and the food. So if you're paying out of pocket for healthcare or life insurance, because now we have Obamacare, now we have the Affordable Care Act, things like that aren't frivolous. They aren't things that we can't go without. So, and just like yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, you started your own business, you know you don't want to do welfare. You started your own business because you found that you can be lucrative in this society with the skill set that you now possess. How do you, with that, manage life insurance, health insurance, car insurance?
Well, personally, I don't have anything. I do have health insurance under the company. As far as my life insurance and auto insurance, it's personal. So I think that's extremely important. You know, it's funny because I'm licensed to sell life insurance. And the only reason that I really got into that is because, again, dealing with our community, there are many of us who don't deem that as important enough to invest in. And
okay, so this is what I do, right? I don't find that my peers don't think it's important to invest in.
Okay.
I find that my peers don't have the money to invest in it.
Yes.
They want it. They have children. They know it's important. They're afraid that they don't have it. They don't like GoFundMe's, but nobody. However, to tell them that $14 or $15 or $20 a check or a month is what's necessary, and they already don't got it, it's real for people. My peers.
I would actually have to agree with you because there was a lot of things that I wouldn't.
But like I'm talking about you know what I'm saying?
Listen, there was a lot of years that I didn't. In fact, there was one of my childhood friends got into life insurance, and she actually got me to do life insurance, right? I gave her the first payment, and I told them I need my payment back, right? Because I wasn't able to continue it. Listen, this was years ago. Yeah, I am. So I did it, you know, and then it got to be to a point to where I guess piggybacking and going back to what I said is I had to say, you know what, I'm getting older. My children are getting older, and I need like certain things to be taken care of because I do not want for people to set up a GoFundMe page to put me in the ground. I also don't want to end up in Potter's Field because I'm from New York and that's where you go when you don't have life insurance. And so what I had to do is back to that point. I had to prioritize, you know, and so I had to take away from things in order to make sure that $50 a month to cover me and my children and my grandchild, so that everybody was covered. You know, because one of the things that I explain to people, even when I'm actively selling life insurance, is the fact that most people do not realize, and so like to go back to what you said, Joy, People realize the importance, but they don't realize the importance, right? If something happens to you right now and you don't have life insurance, you leave your beneficiaries or your people with a $6,000 to $10,000 debt off the rip. That's just to put you in the ground. Like, and see, people don't realize that. So yeah, they say it's important, and a lot of our people tend to think that it's important for people to live off of. Nah, you don't do it for them. Do it for so that you don't put no more stress and debt on their life, just to give you, a proper burial. And see, that's how I had to appeal to people. And honestly, when I thought about it, that's what happened for myself and what made me go. And by hook or by crook, it automatically comes out of my account, and I figure out a way, if it's not there, to make sure that it's there, because it's just that important, because at the end of it, like, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And see, so I want to make sure, like I said, that if nothing else, just in case my children are watching, it's not $1 million policy, high on the hog, and none of that. No.
Don't hire the hitman.
No, please, it ain't worth it. Let me live, okay, until something else happens. But don't start putting no plans in action, because it ain't much. Right. But what it is, it's enough to cover me and not to further, in-debt my children or anybody else in my life. You know what I'm saying? And see, so as far as going back to what you said, as far as like auto insurance, I cover a personal policy. I have been licensed, in the state to drive, and I cover a permanent my own personal policy. Now, as far as health insurance, fortunately, like some years ago, when I first started a different business, a for-profit business, I was able to hook up with a company that I once worked for, where at the time they were allowing small businesses to have health insurance through them. To be very honest, there is an issue and there is a need, because there are not a lot of health insurance policies that cover small businesses. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, you have to have a certain amount of employees. Right. And so one of the things that I personally get away from is, even with that company, I was personally insured. Mm-hmm. And so I am the sole proprietor and owner of that business, although it is an LLC. And what I do to avoid the issues of health coverage is that I do not have employees, but I hire consultants, and I pay them through 1099. So then, of course, it is their own liability for insurance. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes you just have to find ways around things. Yes, like you mentioned with the Healthcare Act, there are many other things that are opening up. There's a marketplace that I know is down in Newark, where you can go and show them what your financial resources are. It goes according to a sliding scale. There are people who are unemployed or underemployed, and if you are receiving, like you mentioned, welfare or financial resources, you are still able to be covered by Medicaid and its affiliates, whether it be United Healthcare, America Group, or whatever. So basically, it depends on your personal need and coverage. Many people who have children, yes, the person may need to be covered by their job, but their child is still able to be covered under Medicaid. So really, it's about doing the research, and figuring out what suits your situation better.
Oh, wow. Now that, I think, is a great bit of information for a lot of single parents who work part-time or jobs that are in a small business, where the employees may or may not be covered, or even if they are covered, I'm sure that it's a high premium, and it may not be the most efficacious thing to do, to have that $100 or $200 taken out of your every single check in order to cover yourself or your kids. So to know that even if you have the job and you have it for yourself, you're still able to get it, which you get it through Medicaid for your children.
And especially if they're getting any measure of food stamps, because usually when people are part-time, they may be below the poverty level, so they may not get the full amount of food stamps, but they could get a portion. But since they are being state funded, they are able to apply for Medicaid. Okay. And there are also a lot of employees that if you are part-time, they don't cover you for healthcare. So those people also do the research, and find out what you're eligible for and take full advantage of it. That is what it's here for. It's here to help.
It's here to help as an entrepreneur. Yes. We've traditionally been conditioned to believe that welfare was a hand-me-down and it was a negative thing. Right. And some of us and some of them have misused it. Yes. But what I'm hearing now from you, Boss Cash Boss, is that this can be a resource, a come up,
Correct.
a way to cover yourself, cover your kids while you're building your business, while you're,
Mhm.
you know, reaching your goals in entrepreneurship. So that sounds, you know, kind of like something I'm trying to do.
Who are Cash?
What I would
Like,
like
who is she?
for all the people who watch, and I think it's a fair demographic of people who may be at what you both mentioned at the poverty level. You may not even know that you're living at the poverty level, right?
Right.
You may have no idea. You might think you might be doing good and managing your money pretty well. But according to the federal guidelines, according to what your income is, you may be living at the poverty level right now.
Right.
And that's not a negative thing. It's a statistical thing.
Correct.
But what I would like to start with, the conversation that I want to begin in this part of the show, is for people who live at that line. For people who may have, for that mother who may have just come off of welfare, may have only been working her full-time job for a year or two now, and just got her first apartment and just furnished it, and every possible bit of money that she can possibly earn just about goes into the household, the children, and everything else. I want to talk about what we can do with her, what she can do rather, to begin to save. We want to break down what bills she can begin with in the house, what she can do without,
Right.
and where does she begin to put away $5 or $10 a week?
Right. Well, with that particular person, like I mentioned before, like, okay, so if you're having financial issues, it's either you spend less or you make more. That's the only two options, right? So in that case, she's to the penny, he or she, because we got some single fathers out there too.
Absolutely.
Like, so with a person is like, you know, to the bone as far as finances, then yes, the first thing that I would definitely encourage is to see what you can budget. You know, what is it? And like you mentioned earlier, DVS, is like, if you're getting every channel on cable and it's costing you $250, but now going down to the basic plan that only costs $100. Like, trust me, I know what it is.
Go down to the fire stick that only costs $40.
You can do that too, or be a Netflix person that costs $7.99. How about that?
TV,
Like,
Hulu,
you know,
live
it's
TV on it now.
listen, it's a lot of things, you know. So with that type of stuff, you can always downgrade. In addition to that, like seeing what else can you like eradicate out of your financial spending. There are a lot of things that we just feel sometimes that we need to have that are not necessarily necessary, you know, and it only you could kind of determine what that is. For some people, like me personally, I do, like you said, internet is essential. And for me, basic channels are also essential because I like to watch Law and Order. So I need my USA and I need those channels. Like,
those are basic channels.
Listen,
They are now.
Club Timber, party games, like, you know, we've been doing it for years. You feel me? But like that's my personal. What I also saw though is like you have to be able to make good financial decisions. So with me personally, yes, I need internet. What I found though is that in many of the carriers, the internet, just internet alone, was almost just as much as the triple play. Right. So I opted to get the triple play. I'm gonna be real honest, I ain't used the house phone in years. I don't even have a jack in my house. However, I get a discount because of bundling it together, so that's what I do. So yeah, but again, as opposed to getting now all of the premium channels, I don't do that. I still have a basic account. In addition to that, you know, like I mentioned, the only other thing would then be to make more money if you're able to. And I think another thing is like some people just don't realize how they are able to make more money. So we have several different things, people driving, people delivering, you know, but it could be just really something where you don't even realize that you're an entrepreneur. You could really feed off of something that may be a hobby. How many people do we have that just love to bake that at one point decided to sell their cookies? How many people do we have that love to do crafts that decided to sell this glass or this cup that they designed or that they drew on and it can be extremely lucrative.
Mhm.
So like you touched on the point of like having eggs, multiple eggs or different eggs, and I am a firm believer in that all people need to have multiple streams of income. Okay, and that can be depending on your situation or whatever it is, whatever you're into, but to always have multiple streams of income. So like I mentioned, I have several things under my repertoire, although currently, like it's about just the financial aspect, there's so many other things that like I do because it's essential for me to be getting money and finances from various different things.
We have a caller. Hello, caller. This is ImRealDvs. Who's calling? Hey, what's going on, K-Bay? Good, good. What's your question? Who's your question for?
Hello, hi. My first name is CASH.A.K.A, but feel free to call me Cash.
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say, first of all, great show, you guys. Great segment.
Thank you.
This is a subject that is so touchy, especially for African American and low income people who are trying to do something. So I really wanted to commend her or Cash on your advice because a lot of us seem to think saving is overwhelming. I feel you, Tanya. That coffee, though, I feel you, right? So I just wanted to say, great advice, great way to break things down to make it terms that are of use every day. Sometimes when we talk about finance, it's so overwhelming. Okay, what you mean? Want to take 20 on my check? I can't.
Right.
Well, I love the way that you broke that down, so I appreciate that. And just keep pushing it, man. Keep educating people because this is exactly the type of topics that people need to know about. So great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much for calling in. If you could also please like the page Financial Boss Org on Facebook, on Instagram. I got YouTube. And just keep up with me. And one of the other things that I do is adult workshops. I do one-on-ones with families. So, if ever in need, please reach out.
Dope, man. I definitely will, man. I'm going to have to interview you on my show next day.
That's what's up.
That's right. Shout out to her, Grind City, in the building.
All right.
Grind City.
Grind. Yeah.
On the game.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Kay. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, it's so important in our community because it's not something that's often handed down from generation to generation, financial literacy in our community. And we have to begin to do that. We hear so many different shows that come up now and people are talking about, we have to start building generational wealth. You can't build generational wealth if you can't keep money in your pocket.
How about that?
You can't build generational wealth, one, if you are not willing to sacrifice. The one thing that you need to do that I'm learning to do is we have to learn to tell ourselves no.
Yes.
One more time, the name of your page.
Financial Boss Org. O-R-G.
Financial Boss Org.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
The website is
Oh, I
www.
got it right.
Yep.
And
Financialboss.org.
what is it? www.
Financialboss.org.
Yeah, and you are on what other platforms?
I have a YouTube channel. Please go subscribe. Facebook, Instagram. There was a time when I was doing a 5-minute segment in the morning called 5 Minutes to Get You Financially Lit. I actually am going to begin doing that again starting November. And what it is just tidbits, 5 minutes of your time, early morning, just to drop a little bit of knowledge on you on how to get through this thing called life and actually have some good finances so that you too can be a financial boss.
Okay, great. So please, by all means, go and follow Financial Boss on whatever platform is your favorite. And if you have more than one favorite, follow on all of them, of course. Question for you, Cash. In terms of someone, because you are an entrepreneur, before we took the phone call, we were talking about having multiple streams of income.
Yes.
I think Joy had brought that up. You guys were talking about multiple streams of income. For the person who is working the full-time job, What
That's
are
the
some
first
of the now?
That's the first problem.
Stop. Because some people have to.
All right.
Some people
No,
have to.
no.
Because they
We're not
don't.
gonna bash the 9 to 5.
Because they
All right.
don't know.
I'm
Well,
going
because
to
they're
suspend my disbelief.
All right.
No, what we're gonna do is we'll have a show about that
Another
whole
show?
party. We'll get another
Yeah, how
time.
about that?
That's what we'll do. That's how we're gonna do that.
Go ahead, Kanye.
But you made me lose.
Yeah. For those who have to work the 9
For
to
those who
5,
have
don't
to
have
work a 9
time.
to 5 and don't have time,
Right.
how does one begin to think about another stream of income? The person who is single, who has the kids, how do you begin? Because now we're not just talking about financial budgeting, we're also talking about timing.
We are, and they go hand in hand, right? So I'm gonna start real simple, right? What are your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations? I implore you to take just a few moments, 10 minutes, to think about what makes your heart smile, right? And from that, once you get to that point, you'll be able to derive a hobby or something that you enjoy doing. And like 9 times out of 10, that same thing that you enjoy doing, you can make money from. Like I was mentioning before, person who loves how to cook, if they can cook, now listen, let me do a disclaimer, right? Something that you love to do and you do well, okay, is how you're gonna monetize. Because just because you love to cook, if don't nobody want to eat your cooking, we talking about something different. Go to the next dream and go to the next goal. Let's start again, right? But for the person who can cook, who loves doing it, and people enjoy it, now you have opened up an opportunity for entrepreneurship in your life. If you are a person like who just enjoys doing certain things, then there's usually always an opportunity for you to make more money or increase your streams of income. So that's the first place that I would say start, is figure out what you like, if you wasn't at a 9 to 5, if you had some time in your day, what would you do with it?
So for those people, because there are some people who, it's almost 8 o'clock at night, they feeding the kids right now, they trying to get the homework done,
Right.
they still got on their work shoes while they running around the kitchen fixing plates, the dishes is running and the thing, and they can't begin to think of what possible thing it is that they could do that could bring money. They can't begin to think of that.
Right.
So what are some things that you have seen in your experience when it comes to somebody taking one of their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations, their likes, their hobbies? What are some of those things that you've seen people do and take and turn and monetize?
So I've seen a plethora. So I'm before I even get into that part, let me just let you know some of the things that are under my repertoire, right? Because I happen to be a serial entrepreneur.
Do that.
Because I realized from a very young age that I was not the 9 to 5 type of person. And that's not to say that I haven't had contracts, that I haven't worked for companies and things of that nature, because, you know, at the end of it, we have bills to pay, and I have also. But some of the things that I do, as I mentioned, I'm a licensed life insurance salesman. I am licensed tax preparer. My schooling and most of my educational background has been technology based. And so my other company is that I work on computers, computer repair. My degree is in data analytics and business modeling, as well as SEO management and website design. In addition to, I'm about to add cybersecurity. Stay tuned. So like a lot of the things that I've done and continue to do, I've worked for DoorDash, I've done Uber, I'm in school to obtain my CDL, not necessarily to drive, but I do want to own a trucking company. So all of these things are things that I enjoy doing though. I like driving, I like working with computers and technology. I'm interested in finances, and so there, is what bred Financial Boss. So with all of these things, it's something that I enjoy doing, and I figured out a way to monetize it.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you real quick because, you know why I'm laughing. She knows exactly why I'm laughing. Because you are not the only serial entrepreneur. This thing right here
Listen.
This thing right, if y'all do not know Tanya Champagne, first of all, you should. If you're watching this show, you already know who Tanya Champagne is. But I want you to just list 5 of your jobs.
Come on.
Just 5. Just say it in the background so they can hear it.
God.
But no, she's a mechanic. She has her own record label. She has the radio station. She does We Got Kids. Go ahead.
Yeah,
She doing
marketing,
project management.
Oh my God, I do so much.
Talent coordinator.
Yeah, I do all that. Model training. Dance team management.
Dance team
So
management.
much.
She was over the Wellsburg Park Conservancy. She also was over, what was the thing where you were doing? She does taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she a serial entrepreneur.
That's right.
And that's the best term
That's
I've ever
what it
heard
is.
for that. So there is, so when you think, and I like that term because what it tells me is that there's always something you can do to make money.
Always.
That's right.
There's always something you can do to make money. It's the things that when you walking around the house singing, that might be the thing that you might be able to go sing background on the road with somebody. If you ain't got any kids, you go sing background and travel the world.
Listen.
If cleaning is your thing, even if you just like cleaning your own house, you go clean other people's houses. That's another income stream.
It is.
If all you got is a car, you have another income stream. Uber, DoorDash, Amazon, this and all of the people, the drop the package off and kick it people, all of that whole situation, all you need is a car.
I did live
Create
for
a company.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just saying.
Uber, Lyft, the whole thing. Like, there's always a way. So when you begin to think about trying to begin to save money, just like Cash said, the first thing you need to begin to do is try to think of where more money can come from. And if you have a hobby, an aspiration, something that you end up doing anyway for a bunch of other people, you can turn that. I was talking to a friend of mine, two friends of mine. One friend of mine is about to start a party, and he needs somebody to decorate it. I have another friend of mine who has a party and decorates the hell out of the party. Friend 1, would you like friend 2 to come decorate the party?
Right.
Talk to friend 2 and see if they're interested in decorating the party. Friend 2, you want to come decorate this party? Let me see if I'm gonna come decorate.
Yeah.
That's how you do. That's how it goes. And she's just decorating the party because she likes decorating. And she thinks it's a beautiful thing to do for her party. For our party, because it's our party. A beautiful thing to do. So, Joy,
Yes.
in your travels, what are some of the, because you've worked with a whole variety, a gradient of different demographics of people. And because you work with a lot of single mothers and children, I'm sure you've seen people take something and take nothing and make it into something.
I have.
What are some of those things that you have experienced with
Well,
people
I don't
that
want
just
to jump
take
in
their
on the
dreams
show
and
and
aberrations?
no conversation, but I got like 3-4 hustles.
I know.
Zero entrepreneurship, but I got a couple hustles. Cleaning up, I'm really good at cleaning. I'm really good at organizing. So even if I'm not paid to clean someone's home, I might get paid to organize their office or their basement space, or come to their salon and get their weave closet together. So there's always goods and services. I make the best empanadas I've ever had. So I make them.
All right.
It's not right now, okay?
It is true.
I make the
I've had
best
it.
empanadas
I've had
I've
it.
ever had. So if I'm low on my sprint bill, I will fire up some empanadas and put it on Facebook in a heartbeat. I don't need a flyer. I don't need a storefront.
Right.
My people know my empanadas rocking, and they willing to give me $2 for them. I appreciate y'all running up this week. Sprint bill. But
I'll cash out you.
I've seen people who learn how to retwist locks and
Right.
color hair, and
Right.
you don't even have to be a weave-tician. You can do something simple as, there's a lot of girls who need their hair braided for their sew-ins. If you get cornrow, they will give you $10, $15 for cornrow so they could go to 6. Like you said, if you have a car, you can work for a DoorDash service, but you can also create a service. I'm looking for a child transportation service. I'm looking for somebody that's a hood Uber. If
Right.
I'm making breakfast and I need 2 eggs, I can't never get the eggs. I need somebody to rent a minivan and bring me some eggs to my house. So I've also seen people good at massage therapy. You know, everybody goes to county for that massage therapy class. Put some hot oil on somebody and charge them for that.
Right.
Like you said, if you can do something, train people, get a workshop. If you know how to So if you know how to make head wraps, you can do all of that. Handmade jewelry is popping. A lot of people paint and don't sell their
The
art.
beauty of men.
If you're an artist, like you said, if you make the cup that you draw on is one thing, but if you hand make the cup, somebody gonna buy that joint.
Exactly.
People make bath salts. People make facial scrub out of sugar and some kind of oil. I've seen it all, and for me, it's not about a good, because if you have to make custom overhead, but if you can perform a service, if you can soak your own feet and scrape them, then guess what? You can do pedicures.
How about that?
So that kind of thing. Services.
And to piggyback off that, if you could soak your own feet, you could stop paying people to do it for you, which avails some money for you to put in your savings account.
Look at that.
Like, but it's always like just like what Joe was sharing is there's always something. It's funny because I was just talking to my oldest child, and she does hair and has been doing hair for a while. And one of her friends was commenting that this is what she needs to be doing. Like, and so we had to have that whole conversation, and me trying to help her get over her apprehension to just jump out there like you doing everybody here in the hood anyway.
Right.
Go on and charge them for it.
Yes.
Like, go ahead and let's set up a company name. Like, you know what I'm saying? But again, first things first, I would say like to automatically take it in steps. First step is figure out what you like to do and what you could do. And if it's able to be monetized. And then after that, we get into all the rest of that. But you got to figure that out first. And, I guess even before that, though, is in order to make more money, somehow see if you could avail some in your current finances. If that is not possible, like at all, now we go into, okay, how can I make more money? Like, I'm going to tell you, when I was pursuing my undergrad, first off, I'm a math head. That's why I do good in technology and finances. And you notice all of my entrepreneurial endeavors have all something related to math, because that's the way my brain thinks. However, I did make a pretty penny on writing some essays and helping out with people in my undergrad. And people pay very well for an A. You hear what I'm saying?
Yep.
See, so you learn how to do what you need to do when some coins is attached to it. So like I said, I don't really like English, but tell me you're going to give me some money to write a paper, Lord. And I'm going to be the one for you.
Look,
and it's going to be doing good for you.
I don't even have a master's degree, but I wrote master's papers that got because somebody was paying.
There you go.
Well, I got a story. I want to look over this way. I hope all of them are watching, to be honest with you. When I used to work for the feds, I won't say which agency, but I worked for them 8-9 years. And you get a pay increase based on your education.
Right.
I will not tell you how I caked off at my full time writing papers, taking entire college classes for detectives, for task force agents. Cash on my desk when I get to work. And I'm sure that could still be a hustle.
It is.
Need to get their upgrade, but
which is why I need to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not writing papers anymore.
For the right price, I will go. That's financial plus or.
That's the
But I am good at English. You might get lucky, but I'm good at it for real. So you want that A+, I like your girl.
But the money that I would charge you. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, because I'm good at it, but it's a lot of work. So,
it is.
Especially a research paper, you want an A. I could give you a C for 100, but anything beyond that.
You have to touch your savings for that A.
For real, you might have to go into debt for that A.
No debt,
because I'm not doing it. I've been through that already. What we're gonna do now, because I want you to come back.
Okay.
We're gonna have to do series.
All right.
This is what happens when we get a topic and there's a lot of information and we cannot cover it in 1 hour. Right. This is what we do on ImRealDvs because people need this information, so we're gonna set it up and bring you back.
Sounds good.
Over the next period of time when you're available, and we'll go ahead and bring it back. So what I need y'all to do is I need you guys to inbox me with any financial questions that you have that we can have Cash prepare the answers for, so that when we get here,
You started at 7:15.
Oh, we got some more time.
I thought I started at 10. Okay, then we do.
We got some more time.
You literally started getting into the interview like before that.
Okay, so we have a few minutes. Good. because there is something else. Well, first of all,
Yes.
we were finishing with we finished with the answer to the last question, which we had started talking about the multiple income streams. Was there anything else that any of you guys wanted to add that might have popped into your head during the last couple of minutes that somebody might not have thought that they could do to take and make money? And please be responsible. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, listen, we are in the age where there are a lot of things that are legally being done in 2019 that were not necessarily available to us 10, 12 years ago, right? And so what I would very much encourage you to get into and deal with is things that you like to do that may not have been legal before that are legal now. And grow your business from that. Like, you know.
So let me see if I
Did you see that?
yeah.
Yeah. Catch up.
I got stocks today.
Yeah, because I mean,
And
really.
have done a couple of events.
Yes.
No, really, because there are, and just like you said, there are so many different things.
Yes.
I'm sometimes in awe.
You ain't all right now. I'm looking at you.
No, not just that part. Because how many of you have a Twitter? If you have a Twitter account, Twitter, my friends, like I'm a person of a certain age, right? I have to say that because Twitter to me is like the open internet on steroids, concentrated in one place. Because you open up your Twitter feed and it's like here and like this, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's very, very free. Very terrible. So there are people who have monetized it beyond the likes. For if you know what I'm talking, because you know on Instagram it goes according to how many likes you get, and then you get sponsorship, and on YouTube and things like that you get sponsorship. People have said F that, and there are websites where you can go do your own movies live for money, and you can bring your friends or not. It can be just you. And people pay you and they tip you and they do whatever your special services are. And I'm not. Let me say I am not saying do this. Let me say that for real.
We're not promoting.
And it's not because of the station or anything like that. I don't want anybody to go and do that if it's not something that you want to do. I don't want you to do it because you need money. That's not what I want you to do. If you want to do it, I'm not against you doing it because obviously I know about it, so obviously I've seen it. Take your own inferences. But what I'm saying, I don't want anybody to. I don't like the fact that it's available to children. So I would like them to be careful. So I do want to put that type of disclaimer. It's very, very adult. It's very, very NSFW. It's very, very that. But for those people who, if you sitting home all day doing stuff like that anyway, because you got 11 kids, make some money with that shit.
Exactly.
And speaking of kids, you can make some money off your kids.
How about that?
I'm gonna jump in. My son's 6 years old, intelligent, gorgeous, speaks well, super smart, handsome, tall, skinny kid. Why can't he be a Disney kid?
Exactly.
There's a boy on television, Ryan. He's on YouTube. This little dude, I don't even want to specify his race. He is not brown. Mm-hmm. This little boy making millions. Mm-hmm. Playing with toys my son put in the basement a month ago. Mm-hmm. Sponsored by places I take my boy to every week. Mm-hmm. Tell me why my gorgeous little brown son can't have headshots and make some money. Mm-hmm. Not for me, for him. Yeah. That's how you start building generations.
That's the other way.
You can build it yourself, little generation. Yeah. You don't got to wait on mommy at school.
You really don't.
But yes, you can, if your child has time, I'm not telling you to pimp your kids. No. But what I'm saying is, you may not be the most talented person in your family. Your child may have the talent of it. They might make slime with glitter in it that the children at the school love. Use all the available resources in your family to propagate your family. Your kids might make you some bread.
No, seriously.
Come on, Beyonce.
Cultivate that.
Right.
That's the other thing. A lot of us, when we see kids doing stuff or we see people doing things, if it's not something that we're into or we do, we either belittle it, we push it to the side, we make it seem like it's not a big deal. When That's all I see on social media. People are making millions of dollars doing these things now.
Yeah.
Right.
Stupid. We make stupid people famous. I'm not saying make stupid people famous. What I'm saying is, if your child has an affinity for playing with toys, and people want to watch their kid play toys, and they're gonna pay to watch him to play toys, why not let him play with the toys for that?
Set up that same camera that you
That's
said was taking
That you can take it out the bedroom and put it in his room for an hour.
And even people with like disabilities and
Yes,
stuff
right.
are utilizing social media and they're owning their
For
disabilities and making money from
Yes.
their disabilities.
It's just awareness. Even people who, if you just like to sit and talk, you want to talk about the problems of your house. There's a group of people out there who identify with you, and they're going to listen to you. And then there are advertisers who, after you get a certain amount of people, are going to advertise on your page because you have enough people identifying with you. That's really one of the formulas.
And that's what it is. Like at the end of it, now we're getting into like the marketing conversations, right?
Right.
And see, a lot of people, that's what it is. It's about the followers, it's about the people. Don't feel like you're isolated and alone. If it's anything that you like to do, trust me, there's somebody who want to enjoy you, who want to watch you enjoy it, who want to buy into it because it's something that they also relate to. Mm-hmm. And so being able to get past that first hurdle of this is something that I enjoy doing and I'm going to try and go forward with this, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's where you start. And like just like what Joy was saying, be open to the possibility that you may not be the first millionaire in your family. Maybe it's your child, maybe it's your grandchild, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your brother. Like it could be anybody in your family, and be willing to support them in doing so. Like, you know, again, that's another thing, and that's a whole other issue. But there are many times in certain communities where we don't uplift and empower one another and work together and collaborate. And what we do is we continue to keep ourselves stuck in a certain position as opposed to all of us being able to elevate. Like, let's get on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer in, like, if you give, you are going to get. As I mentioned, I've been a serial entrepreneur for many years, and if anybody knows about entrepreneurship, it is inconsistent at best. Mm-hmm. There are many times when there was no paycheck.
That's right.
But let me tell you how I've never gone without, and I continue to not go without. Like, you know what I'm saying? See, so if you have that type of spirit, and at the end of it, you interested in moving and being a shaker in this organization and this community, and like trying to get to the next level and help your children and those who follow you get to the next level, you won't be disappointed in any of your endeavors.
Say that. That's coming from the financial boss.
You know?
And we either need to get to the point where we are able to piggyback off each other. Like she does that. There should be a GS Radio Newark logo or something on what it is that she's doing.
That's right.
If she's doing what we're doing, her logo and everything should be
that's
part
right.
of what it is going across the screen or whatever that we're doing. We all Just Joy Media, that logo, everything that we do we should be piggybacking off of each other and never be afraid to share what each one another has going on.
That's right. Because it's not a competition. Everybody brings something different to the table. Mm-hmm. So that's the other part. Don't ever think that what you have isn't special enough for you to make money with. Don't think that because you see somebody else doing it that you can't also do it. Because nobody's going to do it the way that you do it because there's only one you. So take the opportunity, believe in yourself enough to know that whatever you are blessed with is enough to bless you some more.
For real. Let me just say one thing off of that, right? Like if ever you feeling just like what Divya said, right, is that you are not unique and so you can't do this, I implore you to go to any supermarket and walk down the bread aisle and count the different companies that make bread. Like if it was so unique, and trust me, if they're in the aisle, it's because somebody is buying it or they wouldn't survive. So like, just like what you said, like don't ever feel that you can't do it. Somebody else already did it. Somebody else is doing hair or nails or whatever the deal is. Like you are unique in your own way, and you can always bring something special that nobody else has or nobody else can because you're the unique and special you. So nobody can ever bring what you bring to the table. All you got to do is believe in yourself.
I know that's right. Joy, any last words that you want to depart with the people?
I want to give the people a sneak peek to maybe not the next episode series with Cash, but a lot of my stuff comes from me having a child. So I can't wait to get into the discussion about how to start the conversation of financial literacy with young people. I've already done it, but because my son, he costs me anywhere from, I don't know, it's my fault, don't laugh at me, but anywhere from like $4 to $8 a day, from the Dunkin' Donuts swipe in the morning to the after school snack. See what I'm talking about? But no, exactly. But what we also do is, I'm also teaching him some things about money. So like, he'll order his own food, and he'll swipe the card, or he asked me to buy him something, and I explain how money gets on the card.
Right.
This ain't just a card.
It's a money fairy.
Right, that kind of stuff. So I'm very interested in one of our next conversations about youth and money and financial literacy.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do that in the next couple of weeks.
Because everybody is tired of their kids being in their pockets.
That's right. How about that? And I'm gonna show y'all some key ways on how to have them make their own money, right, from a young age. Before we close out, I just need to
Yeah, I saw that. Yo, I need you to get up and go to the camera.
Okay, I gotta get up and go to the camera. Yeah, so this is this way. Okay. So Financial Boss at financialboss.org, again on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That is the number. This is the website, www.financialboss.org. I'm repping my pink for many of y'all. October. I need to stay up. Oh, this one. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't show y'all. This one is backwards, but I'm talking Financial Boss. That's the logo. If ever you see this little money stack, and that's definitely where I'm at. And again, like I was getting ready to mention, I'm repping my pink. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I know a couple of people who are survivors. I know some people who've lost people due to breast cancer, and I know some people who are currently in the trenches and in the storm. And so I always want to, show my support and all that. And actually, pink is not a bad color too. I kind of noticed. But yeah, definitely. I ask that y'all reach out. Again, I do workshops around the city, and I'm trying to get into some other areas. I do one-on-ones with families because I think it's extremely important to target children, adults, whole families, because that's the only way that we change the mindset and of the community and really create a movement. There are a lot of people who struggle with this area and this topic, right? And primarily like a lot of our people, right? So my personal charge to myself is to educate people so that we could be better. And like you said, Vivi, is create that generational wealth. And how do we do that? A lot of times it's not the 9 to 5. It's not just the entrepreneurship. It's the investment. I recently got into multifamily real estate investment because it's important that my children and like my grandchild knows that, that they can do better, and they have other opportunities that I personally didn't know that I had at 21 or whatever. And so I want them to know that, and I want everybody else's kids around me to know, like, we can do this. Like, we can do what everybody else is doing. We can do it to the same level, if not better. And a lot of it just, it starts with the empowerment and the uplifting and the elevation of our people at this stage. And sky's the limit after that.
I know that's right. So we will continue these conversations. I want to thank everybody for watching. Everybody out on GS Radio, everybody who's going to watch this on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, I really, really appreciate you. Much love to Just Joy. We thank you as always, my beautiful co-host. Shout out to Cash.
Yeah.
Much love and appreciation. And some of you, one of her other income streams is she does computer consulting for the station.
I do.
Yes, she does.
Computer consulting. Those are two different things. She does computer consulting and she does it for the station. Those are two different things.
Two different things, right? And so we got to do another segment. After we finish the finances, we'll get into the computer and technological aspects and services and all that.
And things you need to look out for with your kids with computers. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff because we have resources.
That's right.
And we're going to share our resources with you. We thank you so very much. Shout out to everybody. We love you for listening. We thank you for watching. Please share the video. Please share the video. Please share the video to the caller who called in. We thank you so very much. And for those of you who are going to watch this on YouTube, share the video, subscribe to the page, and I'll give it to Cash so that she can put up on the Financial Boss page on her YouTube channel. So we're gonna be running all over the place. That's how devious we are.
That's right.
Okay, you know what I mean? So we're about to get out of here. We thank you for joining us this devious Tuesday. We look for you next week. Check out Humble Beginnings. Shout out to Beauty of Men. There was somebody else that I wanted to say what's up to her. Someone you reminded me of, but I can't remember right now. Oh, check out Hanai. Just look for that online. Hanai. Look for Hanai online. All right. And I think they're gonna have a party that you really, really might be interested in. So
meet
check
me
us out.
down at Rio's tonight, everybody.
Oh, that's gonna happen. So we are out of here once again, and thank you to Tanya Champagne in the background,
Yeah.
super producer. We love you. So we got the boss and we got the financial boss. We bossed up over here.
You know.
I'm ImRealDvs, Just Joy, Cash. We in the building. We out of here.
Bye. Later, peeps.
Now, why doesn't the video want to end? If you end the side video, you get